All right, here we go. And I'm recording. Oh, there's a kitty cat. Okay, and then do you guys want me to unmute you? I can unmute you, or you can unmute yourself if you want to talk and ask questions. So let's see. This week we worked on, where's my notes here? Hold on just 1 minute. I'm gonna pull them out so they're on the side here. Okay. Let me pull my other one out. And let's see. So I have your questions right up in front of me, making sure. Okay. All right. So. Okay. So this week we chatted about more like, it was the editing the code. So it's a little more of the technical part of stuff, getting you familiar with where things are and moving things around if you want. And there was a few questions left. Let me arrange a few things here. Okay. So editing your theme and why, even though it's a little scary to touch the code, you kind of need to be aware that it's there, that you have a lot of possibilities. And sometimes, the free themes don't do everything that the paid themes do. And the paid themes offer a lot more options that are already coded in there for you. But, while the free themes are great, it doesn't mean you're stuck with the basics and that's it. You can touch your code and, move things around and make things happen that you want to. So there are different files that you have to pay attention to, and I highly recommend, copying and pasting the code in a notepad prior to changing anything. So if you do blow up your site, which I do often, and so that's my backup, is I just copy and paste it. So if I go there and it's like the white screen of death, you can just hurry and put it back in and say, okay, that didn't work, and not really, crumble to the ground because you've messed things up. So, things happen, you'll blow it up, but just having a backup is great. And then not having to, we're not doing super complicated things at this point. And so while you can pay for someone to do it, it's not necessarily necessary because, there's small things that you can do by yourself that don't require anybody to be paid if you are okay moving into in the code area. So there you go. And then it was, just updating your checkout page, your email sequence that Shopify sends. So that's not related to your email list. And then customizing your search and the sorting. So that's kind of what the visuals of what people see. And then, the simple edits. So I saw there was a couple questions and I looked around and found some answers. On the Pinterest button, let's see. I'm going to move this over to the side and widen it a little bit so I can see all my questions. Okay. Okay, so Deanne, you asked a few, and that's great. Thanks. I'm just fine with that. So, solution for getting the pinnable button to show up on Shopify store. So when they hover over, I'm going to share really quick. Let's see, where is my, not that one, not that one. Okay, I need to move something because I can't see. So when you hover over the image, the Pinterest button shows up. That is done with a little bit of coding. And I found a tutorial and stuff, so I will just make a quick video on how it's done. It's a simple code that you drop into your liquid.theme or your theme.liquid, and it's in the header section. So your head is listed here, and then if you scroll down to a little bit further, I have the head listed here. So you want that code in between those two head mentions. And I believe this is the code, pin hover true. Yeah. So, and then that pin hover button works on everything. So images, if you have a blog in Shopify, images on your category pages, and the images on the product page as well. So it covers all the images across the board, so there's only just one code that you put in it, and you don't have to mess around with it after that. And it's a code that won't be outdated or anything. It's not, it's a pretty easy code, so once you put it in, there's no tweaking it later on. You just really need to know where you put the code. I suggest that you put it somewhere near, the bottom or something like that. I know there's spaces in here, but if you just drop a code in there and you forget where you put it and you change things around, then it might be a little bit of issue to find it, even though you can use a Control F to find like pin or something like that. Also, if you go in and make a page, and I don't have one right now, but I should make one, and I've done this in the past. I have one for my WordPress blog. So if you make a page that is like site codes, something like that, and tweaks or whatever, and changes, updates, whatever, and then let's see, where is my code again? Oh, I don't have it. But if I drop that code in, nope, code for Pinterest. So if I drop the code in there and then located in, right above the header, then I can keep this hidden and I can just save it. And then it's something that I can refer to back. So if I ever change my theme and that code doesn't translate over, or I've made some updates, I need to keep track of a few things that I've done. Adding a page or a post that's, not visible to anybody else, it stays in either a draft mode is fine. You don't have to publish this at all. But then when you go to your pages, so I'll save this. Then when you go to your pages, you can see, okay, here's my site codes and changes. I can go in there and quickly grab something if I need to do some updates, or I can't remember what I did for this, but it worked really well. Somebody else is asking and I can go and grab it. So that's what I've done in the past. That's worked really good for that. So I will make a tutorial for that and stick that in there, but it's really super simple. Yeah. Your other question was duplicate names from Shopify that go to Constant Contact. Customer get duplicate emails. So they should not. And when I looked at this, this is around whether you have Constant Contact, MailChimp, or anything else. If the person is on multiple lists, I'll stop my share. Let me see right here. Controls. If they're on multiple lists, they won't get multiple emails. They shouldn't. Now, if you start getting complaints and people emailing you say, I just got this 3 times, you're bombarding me, then reach out to customer service for the email provider, because they should not be. They recognize and purge, so they don't remove them from the list. But if you set up an email and you schedule it for 3 different lists, because it pertains to everybody, so you're going to send it to everybody, and they're on all 3 lists, they should still only get 1 email. But if they're not, contact them, and they'll kind of go in there and look and see what's happening, because sometimes things get messed up. But if you get a bunch, then yeah, for sure take care of that. But overall, with anybody's, they should only be getting one email. Now, if you do the same email and then today you do this list, tomorrow you do this list, the next day you do the third list, they will get 3. So it's just when you pick this multiple lists for the same email. So yeah. So they shouldn't get duplicates. Okay, and then you had a question about customer accounts. So let's see, allows the customer to set up account. Okay, so I put a link in there for the quick tutorial on where it is. You control that information. So let me, I think I had it up there, but I can walk you through it really quick. Because you go to settings and checkout and then customer account. So let me share really quick. So, and my pages are all over on top. Okay, so you go to settings and then you go to your checkout. So it's a checkout option under customer accounts. So you have 3 options. You don't collect anything, so they never become, they're always a guest. Or you can make it optional. So when they hit the checkout page, let me look and see if I can do that really quick, because it should be a little radial button. Let's see. Oh, okay. So this is keep me updated, and then save this information for next time. So I believe this is the button that they would click, and that would make them an account. It's optional at this point for my settings. Now, if I made it required, which most of my stuff is digital, so I almost should, because then it makes an account. They can log in whenever and have access to those purchases they've made and download again. If I make it optional and they haven't done that option, then they sometimes contact me later. I can't log in, or I don't have an account, but I know I bought this. I've lost the file. Can you send it to me? So doing it required might save a lot of headache if, and so that I believe means that when they hit this is already checked for them, or it's completely gone, so they don't have an option, and Shopify knows to add them directly and make the account for them. And then if they have an account, then they just log in. And that might look different if you have that option, say, as required. This checkout might look a little bit different because it might force them, you must log in or sign up first and then check out. So there is that. Let's see. And then your last one, I have a newsletter sign up on my page. The name goes into a list on my Shopify. Okay, so for your newsletter sign up, and I saw it was at the bottom of your page, your sign up for the email. Did you use the coding that you got from Constant Contact to fill that in? No, so it was just an option for Shopify to add that. I can unmute you. Do you want to unmute you?
Yeah, just it's quiet now for a minute because they're putting a floor in upstairs, and so I didn't want to disturb anybody with.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, I saw that was an option, and then I kind of tested it out with my own email, and it looked like it just collected it on Shopify and just kind of kept it in a like a spreadsheet. And so I thought that if I used that, then just names would collect, and I would have to just manually transfer them over. And I don't really want to do that.
No, you don't. You don't want to touch them as much as you don't need to.
Right.
Yeah. So in the option, when you're putting your page together, there should be one where you can drop your code. and the code is where you would get from Constant Contact.
Okay, because I know I already synced up with Constant Contact from there was a thing that I guess through Shopify where it said connect, and so I've already connected up with them, but that doesn't affect that little newsletter thingy, does it?
I don't know. So when you put that newsletter thing in, do you have the ability to choose a list as to where that goes?
No, it was just kind of on there on that. It's a pop theme, and it just that's why I thought it was kind of weird.
Yeah. Okay. I will look into it more and see. But really, what you want to do is you have your list over in Constant Contact, and then you build a form. So you have your list, then you build your form.
Right.
And then you take that coding from the form and you put it into the Shopify. And then that makes it look like what you have, but it talks directly and fills the list.
Okay.
From the
so
form.
now is that coding going to be in some place completely different from?
No, it should be in your theme. Let's look really quick because
yeah, I'm a little scared to code things. I don't want
to, right?
Yeah. Well, because every tutorial I read about it, they like yelled at you like you should know what you're doing. So
it's like taking drugs. They have to give you all these warnings.
Yeah. I was kind of like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't want to ruin things.
Yeah. Okay. So let's see. So I went to the theme and then I clicked the customize button. And then that should give you all your options and stuff like that. Okay. And I know you were having problems with your
I still can't get a sidebar menu in there.
So maybe we'll look. Okay. So if you go to your theme settings and your navigations, that doesn't have it for me. Okay, let's finish this one first. Okay, so I've got my sections, and then I can probably what you want to do is add a custom HTML.
Okay.
Let me see what the sections options are. So my sections, I've got images, collections, I've got a product, rich text, So it's going to be, because I don't have any options for a newsletter list on mine.
Okay.
Oh, right here.
Oh, there it is. Promotional. I see it. Okay.
Okay. So this is what you have done is added it's here.
Right.
Did you check your Constant Contact and see if it was added to that list?
I did when I was testing it, and it didn't have it added.
Because I would imagine that it would.
I would think it would have because I had connected my shop and Constant Contact before I put this out there.
Yeah, and then that would give you the option here to add it.
Right.
So that's interesting. So because I'll look into that and see how you can connect this. If not, then what you want to do I have an email list on here? Oh, I'm a loser. No. Okay, so what I want to do is put my custom HTML. So I'll add that, and then here's my heading, and then, this is where I would.
That's where you would put the code from
to MailerLite. And then I'd go to my forms, and then I would, get a copy of this. Oh, this is my copy. So this is a second form. And then I would, let's see, I can share my URL or I can get my HTML code. And Constant Contact has something very similar.
Okay.
So, and this is my preview, so I can see what this is. If I change anything in here, you probably should change your HTML code because it needs to be updated.
Okay.
So then I would
that's
drop
what you would paste there
in here. Yep. And then that would.
Okay.
And that would put it together. So you can, and in Constant Contact, so this is like, a square sign up. In Constant, you have like long rectangles. You have different formats that you can pull. So you can kind of test a few that are inside and view those and see which ones you like best that work better for your page.
Okay.
Yeah. And then if I don't want, let's see, if I don't want anything above it, I don't have to have.
Oh, okay. So you just take the heading out. Okay.
Yeah, because this is self-explanatory, so it doesn't need it. Yeah. So that is how you.
That's under your theme settings then.
Yeah, that's under the sections.
Okay. Okay, under sections.
Yeah, so you go to.
You go to sections and then
online store, and then you hit customize.
Nice.
Yeah, and then it'll default to the sections.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, and then you find HTML, custom HTML.
Yep, add a section and then find your custom.
Okay.
HTML. Yeah. Maybe I'll do a video on that one too.
All right, I'll play around with it too on my end.
Yeah. Sign up on the page. Cool. All right, that works.
Okay, well, okay. I'm gonna mute myself again because the hammering is getting loud.
Nice. Okay, and let's see. And then the editing menus. I'll look into that more because that is interesting. It should be showing up and it's not. And it does pop to the top when it's in mobile, which is correct, but it should be on the side. So I don't know why it's not pulling it. That's weird. I wonder if it has something to do with the container size or something like that. But yeah, I'll look into that. All right, we've got Celine and Julie. Anybody else have any questions on this area? And I'll make some videos for the Pinterest and the adding that sign up. That's a good one. So yeah, how's everybody doing with theirs? What's this, week 3? Oh, so week 4 is, I think it is, I lost my page. It's review. So it's catch up. Yeah. Review and hotspot and hot seats. So we can do some quick run throughs of your sites and stuff like that. If you have any questions on, you know, you need feedback or whatever else. So that's next week. Yeah. And let's see. Yeah, so this week was kind of really simple. It just deals with scary things. Yeah. Oh. So anybody else got anything? We're all doing good and plugging along. I know. Let's see. Yeah, and last week we hit the connecting your email. So yeah, selling on additional platforms. Yeah. All right. Anybody? Anything? We good? We done? Because I don't have anything else to cover. That was it. So it's really quite simple. But I'm happy to answer if anybody has anything they want to, whether it relates to this one or previous week or whatever, or if you've got a question further down that I know we haven't covered, but we can kind of talk about if you want. I'm looking to see. Oh, and the week after that is your Shopify report. So hopefully everybody has your Google Analytics hooked up too. But yeah. Yeah. All right. That it? We good? Okay. Thanks for joining me. And if you got any questions, just drop them in there. Happy to answer or figure out what you need and do whatever. So until then, we will talk to you next week. Okay. See ya.